Anyone else? Quick question, if you could put on your time machine hat, when the results were low in the district and lowest in the state, what did people attribute it to?
Part of the community blamed the kids, those kids. They can't learn, they won't learn. So it was different opinions about it. Our society has downplayed, I feel like, the role of teachers until COVID came. A lot of it was that, and then those kids. They looked at our population like they can't learn. You guys have those kids.
I think this room can relate to that. There are a lot of folks here in different systems who have heard those kids,
Right.
right? Whether it's Brooklyn or Savannah Chatham or Baltimore or Albuquerque, New Mexico, or Oakland. That's why they're here.
Yep.
Because we have, and the interesting is that's a lot of different places, but it just so happens that those kids are everywhere.
Right.
Just so happens. Well, let me ask you this. If you could give them one thing, if you could say, hey, whatever you take away from this, make sure you do X. I'm going to give you a second to think about it, but I want you to be able to, is that all right, the answer? Just make sure you write this one thing down. Go ahead, Rob.
I can start. When I came, to the board, I didn't have any education background at all.
Next, someone else. One thing you want to make sure. Go ahead.
So, I'm Kimberly Hopkins, President of Seaford Board of Education. My one takeaway for all of you.
Just say if you tell me your name and your role. And then,
All right, I'm Chandra Phillips. I'm the proud principal of Seaford Central Elementary. So we know that the people who are in Seaford, they want to be there because they could go, 10 or 12 miles to the east and probably make $10,000 more a year. It's just that simple. So if they're there, they want to be there. Like my tagline this year was, "You chose to work here." So when things get a little rough, one of my teachers actually made me a shirt that said, "You chose to work here, Miss Phillips." I wear it so when things get tough, or when that one kid is cutting up, and I'm like, "You chose to work here."
Can I chime in? I'm Chrissy Jeanette.
And what's your role, Chrissy?
I used to be the principal at Blades. Now I'm currently the director of instruction.
Hello. I'm Kelly Carbajal Hagman. I was the director of instruction in Seaford for quite some time. And I think that the most powerful thing that we did was believe. We believed in that the students could do hard things. And we believed that the teacher.
When you say you believed that the kids could do, I hear you.
Yep.
And so because you believed in students, therefore you did what? Therefore you approached it how? How does that show up?
That struggled in other places.
And I think there's also a piece there of you're going to have folks, you don't have to believe in it, but you're going to do it.
You get to
and
that.
then you're going to see the results, and then you can
That's
believe.
right.
So you don't necessarily have to believe in it first. And on an intellectual way, even if you didn't believe that it could work, you knew that you needed to do something different, right?
Correct.
We didn't want to be last. So we knew we needed to do something different. And so
This is one of the key, it's very, very important, and I'll come to you. I know you have your hand up, and I don't know if anybody else did, and there's someone there. So really quickly, if you look at the book Driven by Data and then Leverage Leadership by Paul Bambrick and Toyo, we use it in New Leaders. I used to be the executive director of Western Region for New Leaders for New Schools. And within that data-driven instruction framework, what he says is, you do not try to change beliefs. You change practice. And when the results come, then there's dissonance they got to wrestle with.
That's right.
Well, why did that happen? Now the beliefs can begin to change. But what a lot of system leaders and community advocates, where they go wrong is, they spend all their time circulating in beliefs. So we're talking about prejudice and racism and classism and this and that and your belief in all kids and all that stuff. And by the time you finish arguing with that, they're gone, you gone, and the initiative did die. The money didn't ran out. I just need you Here's a template for the data-driven instruction for this cycle, for this, look at this standard, that they did 2 right on this one, and the same standard, this one they missed wrong, what did they get wrong? Why did so you drill down to the details of practice. And then-
And I don't know if this is a policy piece necessarily, but I think always encouraging folks to have honest conversations about race, about poverty, right? Different backgrounds. That makes us richer and more well-informed, and ignoring the lack of knowledge or the differences is not helpful.
Well, it's tricky because in places like Oakland, that's all we do is talk about race. I'm not playing. They'll tell you. We'll have a whole board meeting talking about race till we get so wound up, and they just shut it down. Am I lying? I mean, literally shut it down. Everybody's walk out. We could do that for a whole year and not have any board agenda item covered. So there's a. I'm serious. The same thing in other districts. So there's a healthy balance between talking about some of this stuff, because it's important, and you want to have developed people, and you want to have people who can engage in different communities and all that. And we're going to get to teaching and learning at some point, the nuts and bolts of instruction. If that's not on the table, we could rotate in this sphere forever. At least in Oakland, that's how it goes. Maybe you guys are more. So there's got to be some sort of a balance. We want to develop people's cultural awareness and their cultural competence and all the rest. And guess what? On Monday when I come in your classroom, we on lesson 2.5. You need to be ready to go.